started.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited, guys, to kick this off. I know we've had so much fun planning this series, and we want to make it efficient. We want to make it effective to really help you guys not just have another call to like learn all the things, but that these can be things that you can really implement with action steps. And what I love about this is, if you guys don't know us, and I'll kind of let the gals introduce themselves, but we are all like 5 to 8 star leaders on the West Coast. And so you have a lot of different perspectives, but our businesses are growing. And I'm really excited to learn and hear different things from these gals. And so we picked some topics every single week to go through. We are going to have space for questions for you guys. And I'd really encourage you to take some notes and to think about how you can like actually implement these things like today, like right now while we're on the call, pull out your phones. So I'm going to facilitate. My name's Abby. I live in Oregon, and we were an elite team last year, and my kids are probably going to interrupt me, and we're just going to roll with that. But I'm really excited to have Melissa and Amethyst share today. Can I have you guys introduce yourselves? Because I actually didn't pull out all your accolades in front of me. So they're going to talk about Success Club. So we'll just kind of go back and forth, but if you guys could introduce yourselves really quick, and then I'll kick off the questions if that works for you. So yeah, Amethyst, you go first.
I'll go first. Melissa's muted. So I'm Amethyst Thomas. I live in California. I have 3 kids, 21, 18, and 11, so the whole gamut. And I worked in nonprofit for 17 years before becoming a coach. And so I'm continue to be passionate about parent education and helping families out, in particular in the area of technology. And so I've been coaching for 4 years, and we are an elite team, Team Freedom Fighters, this past year. So to the girls who are on the screen, proud of you guys for all of your hustle and hard work from this past year. It's so amazing. So premiere twice before that. I'm an all-star legend, 48 months. I am one of those people who said I would never coach, ever. Like, told my coach, don't ask me, I will never do this. So don't ever give up, on the people who you really feel like would do a great job at this. I love it now so much. I just love getting to help others. And I think that's about it.
Hi guys, my name is Melissa Galamay. I also live in California. I'm in Northern California, so a lot of people, when they think of California, they think like palm trees and nice beaches. We're more like wineries and redwoods. So it's still beautiful, and we still have beaches. It's just different. I have been a coach for 6.5 years. I have the honor and privilege of co-leading Tenaciously Fierce, which Katrina Scott, who you'll meet through this as well, she co-leads it with me. And I have 3 children. One is 13, which feels surreal that I have a 13-year-old. I have an 11-year-old, or almost 11-year-old, and I have a very, very sassy, unexpected 5-year-old, which actually is why I feel like I really leaned into this opportunity, because I started to lose weight, and along the way I gained life. But I really don't think that unless I had gotten pregnant with my daughter, that my back would have really been against the wall, because I was working in corporate America. And I like to explain my position as like the crap sandwich. I had corporate who I reported to, and I had associates who I led. Actually, I should say I managed, because I was definitely a manager back then. Even though the title was leadership, I didn't lead anyone. I managed people. But it taught me a lot about who I was as a person and as a leader. And it also showed me, once I was introduced to Beachbody, that I did actually want to be home with my kids. And I could not bear the thought of sending another baby to daycare and missing out on all those firsts. And it took somebody who had no confidence and turn them into a dreamer. And it's allowed me to take my mess and turn it into a message to serve others. We've become a 4-time elite team, which I could not be more proud of. I've been in Success Club officially this month, 64 months consecutively, which is funny, because I should tell you before I start giving you my tips on Success Club, if everyone wants to mute themselves, that'd be awesome, is that when I first got started, guys, even though my coach told me the value of Success Club, and I knew that there was a trip that you could go on because I stalked her for 13 months before I did anything, I thought Shakeology was expensive and I didn't see the value. So sometimes I would take my HD order off And if you take your HD order off and you help 3 people, you don't qualify for Success Club. You have the points, but you don't get it. And that totally stunk. And it took one of my personally sponsored coaches, who's still a coach to this day. She doesn't do much with the business, but she's still earning team cycle bonuses, which I think is so cool, that you could step away from this business and still earn money to take care of life. But, excuse me, she texted me and she was like, oh my gosh, all these changes with the Success Club lead program, it's so cool. And I knew nothing about it because I wasn't leading my team. I was literally looking at all the shiny things that Beachbody had to offer. It was from that moment there that I decided that I would never not hit Success Club again, and I would never not understand the changes that the company was doing if I wanted to be a leader in this organization, like the people I was watching. So I just thought I would tell you that. I haven't hit Success Club from day one. It took me like 9 months to figure it out.
I love that. That happened to me actually my first month. I canceled my HD order and had no clue. And I was like, what? Why? But gosh, okay guys, we are so excited. So hopefully by this point, you guys really understand. I don't think we need to go into why Success Club is important. Hopefully as new coaches, you get the reasons. So what we really want to dive into today with you, I mean, you guys just heard their accolades. These gals never miss Success Club. So how they hit it, how they strategize their month, what are their like daily small behaviors? And as they are going, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat and we'll make sure to go back through them right now. But what I would love to hear from both you, Amethyst and Melissa, is kind of, first of all, big picture. How do you sort of structure out your month in order to hit your goals? I'm assuming you're not just winging it. So what does that look like for you guys? Big picture first.
You want me to go or you want to go?
I'll go for it, Melissa.
Okay. So yes, Abby's right. Not winging it. I wung it for a really long time. And although that worked, it didn't make me feel I am a hot mess. I will own that title. But when it comes to my business, it's very important. And so with Success Club, I think the first thing that's so important is you have to have the confidence that you're going to hit it no matter what. Like there's never a month that I go into it where I'm like, oh, we're back to zero. What am I going to do? How am I going to help 3 people? Nope. I have a list of people who I'm going to be following up with. And that list can range anywhere from 10 to 30 people, depending on the conversations that I had with people who actually said they wanted to do it. And so within my first, like as we go into the new month and through the first and second, I'm following up with all those people, letting them know what our new specials are. And then the other thing is with my team, something we just started implementing again. I used to do this and I walked away from it. I don't know why. I just did. But we just started doing it again is we have 6 a.m. power hours, which keeps me accountable. I tell my team all the time, I could totally work in pockets throughout the day, but this keeps me intentional. So being intentional with your time is 100% important. But also the last thing I'll share is just knowing what your groups are that month, right? So that you can fill them up. Have a hard start date for things like this month. We had a 3-day refresh group. We also have a 21-day fixed or 21-day test group coming in. So people can choose either from Shift Shop or they can choose from 21-day fixed real time or 21-day fixed extreme, depending on what they want. We're laying down a 21-day foundational program before they go into anything else. So knowing what groups you're gonna get started every single month at the beginning of the month.
Yeah, I would agree. Mindset is huge. So my number one is just personal development. So we have only 4 requirements of ourselves as a coach, right? And personal development, a lot of people, I think, make that part optional. And I would just say that that is number 1. So just pouring into you every morning, even just things like, during shelter in place, it's super easy to sleep in, right? And I love sleeping in, but I have been just going to bed with affirmations like, okay, I'm going to sleep through the night. I'm not going to get up and pee. Like last night was the first night I slept through the night. So I'm really excited about that right now. And I'm going to wake up between 6 and 7, and I'm going to start that my business activities before my daughter starts doing distance learning, right? Because she takes over my computer. Melissa, you're talking about device problems, right? Like my computer is all my 11-year-olds like all day because she's distance learning. So I'm on my phone, but if I can get in there before 9:30 and, get my, first of all, have my personal development done, and then go ahead and do my really important activities before 9:30, then it can feel accomplished. Go push play then, right? While she's working and having class. So you just have to kind of adjust your day, but it all starts with personal development. So I just cannot highlight it enough, you guys. So whether it's Bible study or the Miracle Morning or a personal development book, I'm reading through like the Enneagram book right now, I'm on number 1, whatever it is, it's going to help you grow and pour into you so that you have something to pour out. I feel like that is like the biggest overarching picture of success in life, period, but especially also with the Success Club is just believing in yourself. And so if you haven't read the Miracle Morning, you have got to read it, you guys. It's life-changing. All the girls on the screen here that are my girls their lives have been changed by it. And so go and do that, girls. Those 6 habits that will change your life before, I think it says like 9 or 8 a.m. are really life-changing. So I want to encourage you in that too.
I love that. That's so good. And I feel like I think I could speak for all the leaders on this call. If you're a coach sitting on here, like, well, I don't know what to invite to, like, go talk to, like, we have things for you to plug into. So if you're sitting here being like, I don't know where to start, I don't know, like if you're getting a restart in your business, please reconnect with your upline so that we can help mentor you in these things. So now that we've kind of talked big picture, let's dive down into kind of the nitty gritty details. What are the small things that really make a difference, that like the consistent action? So now that you have I know when my group is going to start, what are you doing every single day to make those things a non-negotiable? And how has that sort of shifted maybe over the course of your business from when you started till now?
You want me to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I would say constantly staying in conversation with people. Like if you are not talking to people every single day and your business shuts down because it's not convenient for you or life happens, that's your biggest mistake, guys. I do this gut check on myself all the time, but I also give it to my team is, if you were going to work for 40 hours a week for somebody else, would you expect to be compensated for the work that you're doing in your Beachbody business? And if the answer is no, you have control over that, right? It's not hard to have conversations. And so by you going and just scrolling somebody's Instagram and loving on 3 pictures and putting a comment and then going to their stories and actually watching what they're doing so you know what's going on in their world, I promise you, it'll take you so much farther than just cold messaging somebody. The other piece I would say, guys, is sharing your story over and over and over, and sharing your transformation over and over and over, and always being a challenger, because you might think that all the people who are liking and loving and commenting on your pictures have seen it so many times. But if you're constantly adding people into your network, you have new eyes coming on. And I just told you guys at the beginning of this that I watched my coach for 13 months before I did anything. I'm sure many of you guys can relate to that, right? Silently lurking, silently watching what they're doing. So making sure that you're always staying in phase 1. Been doing this for 6.5 years. I still have to do the vital behaviors to move my business forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's awesome. I agree with all of that. And one time I heard my upline say, your body is your business. And that might kind of rub you the wrong way, because it did for me at first, but there's something really powerful, like what Melissa just said about sharing your story and sharing your transformation, is that people need to see that the products work, right? The other vital behavior is to be proof for the product, right? So like yesterday, I posted a picture of me just from behind. You can't even see my face. You just see like my back. And I had to giggle because I'm like, I got all these comments about how strong I was. I wasn't even going for that. But like, or like Jen Wren is on the screen. She's like, she shows her body. People are like, oh, what she does works, right? So like, it's not like you have to show too much skin, right? But just show that you're a product of the product. So I think that's part of it too. And I totally work off of a follow-up list too, Melissa. So I write down everyone I am having a conversation, like a real conversation with, about Beachbody, not just like getting to know them, because obviously that would be exhausting. But if somebody said like, hey, not right now, maybe another time, I would consider that later, that kind of stuff. I always have a follow-up list every single month. So start from that list. If you're not writing your people down, please change that today, right? Because someone who said, no, not now, like back in January, because of, they maybe gave you a cost objection. Now you can get them signed up for $140, right? Like it's crazy cheap right now. So always go back to the follow-up list. If you're not a brand new coach, one of my favorite easy tips is just to do the Bod Renewal thing. This is like gold. So hopefully you guys know about this in your back office. There's a tab called subscription orders. Click on there, pull Bod into the little framework, click on customers, and then click on the date. And the date will sort it by date, and it will show you whose Bod is going to expire, sooner, or the soonest. And so then, for example, so on the first day of May, I messaged everyone whose Bod was going to renew in May, right? And I told them like, hey, congratulations on being a Beachbody On Demand member for a year or more. Or it could be a quarterly subscription. So if you've only been a coach for 4 months, this could still apply to you as well. And say, hey, just want you to know that you can upgrade if it's a quarterly person, say you can save $50 by upgrading to an annual membership, right? And if you want to try that Shakeology that you always see at the end of all the Beachbody On Demand videos after your workout, you can try that this month for $40, right? Which is crazy. Normally it's about $60. So I always send those messages, and most people are excited about that because they're already committed, right? You're not selling them on anything because they're already doing it every day. So for me, those are shoo-ins. That's such a gift from Beachbody. When I started, it was, we didn't have that rule. You could only get Success Club points from a customer one time in their life. One time. Now Beachbody allows it every 6 months. So as far as like a point perspective, go for that, girls. Like that is huge. Of course, we want to keep getting new blood and new people in and helping, new people's lives every month. But as far as like the points, you're going to get a greater commission. So my philosophy is win-win. You're going to get a bigger commission, and those people are going to save mega bucks there, right? So that's like one of my favorite little tips to share.
I always forget about that. I'm writing down things I'm going to do right now. That is really good. Okay, how about social media? Are you guys doing call to action posts every single day? What do your stories look like? Like kind of, again, those little daily behaviors in order to move people down the dial. Are you just posting on social media, and then do you follow up with people watching your stories? Kind of how do those posts to conversations to invites to conversion look for you guys?
So like I said at the beginning, I post on social every single day. I think it's so important. I'm also active in my stories every single day, so it feels really weird to me for the last day and a half that I haven't been, and I won't be until my phone gets here. But it'll be a test, right? Just like Jess said. But I do at least a storyboard every single day. Every single day, some sort of storyboard, whether it be a transformation storyboard or it be a coaching opportunity, like recruiting to my team storyboard. And sometimes, depending on how fired up I am about what's going on, I do 2 in a day, but I split it up, obviously. And what I mean by storyboard is I go into Canva and I create stories with pictures. And I tell the story of how I got started in this business. I tell the story about how, I was watching people from social media and I was envious of what they were doing. I tell them how my first coach that ever signed up with me told me that she would never work this business, and now she's the top earner in my organization and also an elite coach. I tell the story about how I was an addict and struggled with addiction. I tell the story about how I made the decision 3.5 years ago to walk away from alcohol. So I tell my story, and I tell it over and over again, and then I add polls on there. Or I do like drop your email or drop an emoji. And yes, I'm just like you guys, and I get bots, all the bots, right? They're so annoying, but I feel like they're helping me, because if I had no one vote on that poll that day, they did. So guess what? Nobody knows that it was a bot. So make sure you're putting up polls, okay? And then you can go block those bots if you really want to, if that really drives you crazy. And then in my my Facebook, I'm trying to take those same storyboards and put them over there. I haven't been as good. But what I've noticed is that when I put stories in Facebook, because that's always been like my bread and butter, I get a ton of views from there. And then what I'm doing every single morning is I'm going and say, hey, Abby, thanks so much for watching my story. How are you today? Or, hey, Amethyst, thanks so much for watching my workout yesterday. It was a doozy. Have you ever considered trying it? Or, hey, Jess, thanks so much for all the support on my page. Have you ever considered doing what I do? Right? I'm just starting. Yep, even if they don't comment. So if they like it or they're watching my stories, I'm going to assume that they want an invitation, because people watching your stories it's how I look at it is people are coming to your house. And if Jessica and Amethyst are at my house and maybe Hannah and Bailey show up and Whitney's there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this party that we're having next week. And Whitney's going to bring burgers. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to lay by the pool. Amethyst, Jessica, Bailey, and Hannah might be like, do we get to go to the party? I want to go to that party. It sounds so fun. Whitney's really cool. I want to be around Whitney. I love her energy, right? But if I don't invite them, it's like saying I'm having this party, but not ever inviting them to it, right? And you have to, I think studies show that you have to put something in front of people 13 times before they'll say yes. Maybe it's less than that, but whatever it is, keep inviting those things and make it very conversational. And a lot of times, guys, you'll have people be like, oh, I don't know what story it was, what it was. And then you're like, ooh, that's weird. Don't get weird about it. You're like, my bad, it must have expired. You had watched one of my stories. But honestly, I've been watching you too, X, Y, and Z. And this is what I like about you. Like, just be friends with people. I think I just went off on a tangent, but storyboards, that's what I do every single day.
I'm not as organized as Melissa. I would love to have beautiful storyboards, but I just kind of share my life. So I just take pictures throughout the day. And then, at some point I sit down and turn them into a bunch of stories, right? So whether it's my quiet time, my workout, my shake, my meal, going on a bike ride with my family, something about coaching, whatever, right? I just throw it all in there to go as I go. And sometimes I miss and I'm trying. So basically for 4 years, I've posted every single day. In the last year or two, I have stopped posting on Sundays because I really feel strongly about not working on Sundays. If it's something like family oriented, I will, or whatever. But I also want people to know, as I'm bringing people on as coaches, that I don't want my girls to work all the time. I want them to have a balanced life and enjoy their families too. But I always, I try to always have something on my stories, but this weekend, I think I went 3 days without it, but it's that's okay. You know what I mean? We're our own business owners, right? But I absolutely agree with Melissa. I post the same thing on Facebook and Instagram. I don't share it through Instagram. Apparently the algorithms are better if you copy and paste separately. So I do the same post on both platforms. And then I save the stories as I'm making them on Instagram with that little save button. There's a little arrow that goes down, and that's all the hard work, right? And then I go and put them all on my Facebook stories. What I was saying, I'm like Melissa, is that Facebook is my warm market for sure. So I definitely do the same thing. I will go message all those people. Well, on a good day, sometimes it will completely expire and be like, oops, it does archive. You can go back. And so I will try to message those people and thank them for watching. How are you doing during this really hard time? Trying to connect with them and hear, we're truly how are they, and then I try to do the same thing on Instagram. Now, I will confess it's not my favorite part of the business at all. And so I've super struggled with this part, but I'm trying to, I heard some call recently that's just talked about really changing your mindset about it. So I try to tell myself, I like this. I like to connect with people. I have the opportunity to help people. I really try to tell myself that. I believe in affirmations because otherwise I just won't do it. And then I'll have all these missed opportunities, So that's kind of how I roll with my social media.
That is super helpful. On kind of your guys's invite to conversion process, what does that look like for you? Are you having them fill out a form? Are you inviting them the first time you see someone pop on your stories, or do you form them a little bit first? What does that process look like for you when you first, let's say I'm creeping on your stories or liking your post, to converting me to a client? Right now, this time of month.
I'll just be honest. Oh, go for it. Go.
No, you're good. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, I thought it was you. I'll be honest and say that everyone's different. I do try to have conversations before, because I feel like when I can connect with someone and feel like we have something in common and I understand their why first, it's a lot easier for me to move forward with the conversation. Because when they're like, well, how much does it cost? I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know how much this is going to cost, like what this is. So tell me more about yourself. I do have a Linktree form. I'll be honest. When Amethyst said she wishes she could be organized like me, I'm not. Don't let that fool you. I literally make my storyboards and save them to my phone. So I know that it works for a lot of people, and I know that is, but I personally feel for myself, I don't want to have to do double the work. I just don't. So if I'm going to have to go sign up on the Beachbody website, I don't want to have to fill out a form too. That's just how I roll. But I know that works for a lot of people. So really it's just conversations, and they're all different.
Mm-hmm. I don't do a form either. It's actually, I admire people who do, and it's like in the back of my brain that I want to do it. But actually I had somebody help me make a form, and it's been used once in like 2 years. So that's just not my jam. So I just keep it super relational. So I'm always relational first. I never come in and mention Beachbody or anything at the beginning. So I just say, hey, thank you so much for watching my stories. I try to look at their page, right? Like somebody had said she was celebrating her unicorn's birthday yesterday. I was like, how fun that you have this cute little unicorn. How was the birthday party? And she's like, oh, I actually have 4 unicorns. So we're in the middle of this conversation, right? And maybe about the third message, she said something like, it's hard teaching all my unicorns, but like, my fitness has taken a back burner. She brings it up. Right. So I said, oh, tell me about what you do and what kind of fitness. And, then it kind of comes around. Yesterday, I was a little bit more bold with my message. And I said, hey, thanks so much for following my stories, because there is so much fitness in there. And I'll say, I'm just super passionate about helping people know that they can stay fit and healthy at home for an affordable and convenient way. How are things going for you under shelter in place, right? So I kind of drop that in there, because there's no way they don't know that about me already, right? If they're following through all my stories every day, they know, right? So it's kind of silly not to bring it up, but I'm not putting it on them. I'm just like summarizing why I'm showing up, right? But then I'm engaging in a conversation with them.
So you guys, it sounds like both of you you are relational, you lead with getting to know them, and then you extend the invite at some point in the conversation when it feels natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've been asking things like starting more early by saying, oh, if they have anything to do with fitness on their page, or they're talking about, I'll say, oh, are you a coach? Instead of, do you have a coach or do you want to join me? I've just been starting that way. And that seems to make top level, instead of moving up, I feel like I'm moving down, if that makes sense. So I'm like, oh, they're like, oh no, I'm not a coach, and I don't have a coach. And I'm like, oh, so then it just opens up that conversation. You can go from business opportunity to challenge group, you can kind of start that way. So I'm kind of been trying, does that make sense? I'm starting like more top level recruiting question first. Most likely people are not going to say they want it. I don't run into people who want it for the business opportunity right away. So, but then I can move down, right? So that's kind of how I do that.
I will say once they've joined me though, they do get a form. So they have, there's different levels, like but when they're first getting started, I have one and they have the option of doing it, but it's not how I roll.
Okay, last question for you guys before we open it up for questions, because I just want to respect everybody's time. What about objections? You send me your invite and I'm like, yeah, well, right now, money's tight because I lost my job, or I'm stressed out homeschool. Like, I'm just kind of picking in like objections that I'm getting right now. So those kinds of things. What is your process with the objection piece to enrollment from there?
Again, I think it's asking more questions to really understand, because what I feel like with the people that I work with, and even when coaching my team, is most people don't understand, and so they have an objection. And so if we can educate and we can ask them more questions to understand what their goals are and their desires are, then it's easier to lead into it. With the money objection, I'm very bold, and I think this comes with time, that you just get more comfortable in it, is I will straight up ask them, do you get a manicure? Do you have eyelash extensions. Like, I'll ask them those things, because if you're telling me that you're 30 pounds overweight and you're depressed and you're not happy when you put your clothes on, but you're telling me you can't afford it, but you can afford all those other things, and you can't stop going to Starbucks. You can. You're making a decision. And so the other thing is, I help them figure out a solution to their objection. And then I also battle objections publicly. This is something I learned a long time ago, was to go out, because chances are not only does that person have the objection, but so does so many other people. And so I'll go make a post on Facebook. This isn't calling them out at all. Like, I'll never do that. I will never shame someone or make anyone feel bad, but I will say, today I was chatting with some friends and this came up. Right. And so the better job that we can do. And then when people are like, well, I want to know more about Shakeology, instead of shaming them, I'll help them. And if I don't personally have a Shakeology video, which I probably could create one of my own, but I'll go find one and I'll help them understand it. Because a lot of people are like, I want to know the ingredients, when they literally just ate a Big Mac. So it's really just helping them understand the value that's in it, because from the naked eye, it does look like another MLM until you're in it, until you educate them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I agree. I have been definitely getting bolder as time goes on. I know it's super scary if there's any new coaches on here. And I just want to address you, which, by the way, Carly, I'm loving that you're curling your hair right now. It's like so cool that we can have a job that you can curl your hair on a call. Yeah, I want to address you real quick if you guys are new. So like, set your goals, about like what your goals are, whether it's SC5 or SC10. We didn't really, Abby, sorry, I'm going backwards. I hope you don't mind. Really quick, I wanted to mention this. SC10 was also always my goal, because my upline, that was hers. And so I just think that success leaves clues. And so what I love that. And it just means, so for me, I just listen to all the good training, right? Like, I listen to my upline training all the time. When I got put into Diamond Above group, I never miss any training. And then I learn, and then I apply, right? So for me, SC10 was my non-negotiable, and I've hit SC10 every single month except one, and that wasn't a really big month of personal loss for me. But, make that goal for yourself. And then also don't forget about the warm market that you start with. So for you new coaches, I literally went to lunch. We can't do that now, but I went to lunch, went to coffee with those friends who in my past, I had already talked to them about our struggles with weight loss or nutrition, or, had done some sort of weight loss something, or gone to the gym together, something that had to do with health and fitness already. I just went to them directly. I didn't send them a message. I was like, dude, this is what I'm doing. Like, you have to join me. And they're like, okay. Like, my two first customers were my dear friends who I'd been through this journey with already. Right. So don't be afraid to ask those people to join you if you have a history with those conversations with, right? So I just want to encourage you new coaches, do that, but then post regularly, because the warm market, all your friends who have been following you, if they see you, someone who they trust is huge, girls. Like, you cannot underestimate this. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, wow, Carly is doing this thing. I need to lose weight. I am definitely in quarantine 15 right now. Okay, I'm going to reach out to her. Right. So trustworthiness is huge. So I just wanted to address the warm market, because we're kind of getting into big social media semantics, but there's a whole other life that is just our warm market. So I just want to encourage you guys in that. And then, sorry, back to objections. I think I am becoming more bold. Like yesterday, someone had said she wanted to do the refresh, and I sent her the link, and she was like, oh, I can't afford that right now. I was hoping a $25 cleanse. And I said, and I literally almost didn't send this, but I said, well, you get what you're paid for. And I was like, ooh, she might not like that. But she goes, oh my gosh, you're totally right. And she said, and I said, girl, she's like, money's just totally tight. And I said, I totally hear you. If you invite a few friends to join you, you can get cash back and pay for your product. And I understand, and I'm here for you whenever the money is available for you. But I just don't want you to waste your $25 on something that is not, what I'm going to be able to provide for you, for this. So I feel like I've gotten a little bit more courageous. Some people might not like that. I totally get it, but it's the reality, right? I mean, I'm looking at Mary Beth. She's like a nurse practitioner. She's like, the people with excuses, it's like ridiculous, right? People will come up with any excuse, right, possible. So I would just say, yeah, I mean, like Melissa, you can ask what the other things that you're spending on, or I always like to say, I can help you with a referral bonus if you have a friend who wants to join you, right? Kathleen Magott's on here. She earned her client $120 in a week just for signing up 2 people. That paid almost for her whole challenge pack. So I always talk a lot about referral bonuses, or I heard it referred to this week as the friend bonus. So I actually like that even better. I think I'm going to start using that, the friend bonus, $50, right? So usually it's a money cost objection. People do ask about the ingredients, and that's your opportunity to share your story. So don't feel like, because when I started, I was like, who am I? I did not grow up eating healthy. I knew nothing about nutrition, but I could tell my story. Nobody can argue with your story. I struggled with irritable bowel syndrome my entire life, until I started drinking Shakeology, and now I have no symptoms. So like, tell your story and why that might, connect with somebody's heart, and they might realize, oh, it's actually, must be legit, or it must be worth the money.
So many like mic drops there, Amethyst, and like so good. One thing I know this is not my call, but one thing I wanted to share, especially if you are a newer coach, that really helped me when I was first getting started, is I did this. I remember it was in the summertime, so I'd been a coach for about 3 months, and I emailed or messaged every single mom friend that I had with kids under the age of 5, because that was my like brand. And I just said, hey, Susie, like, hope your summer is going well, insert something personal. Don't know if you've seen what I'm doing as a coach, but I'm loving it, and it's been the biggest lifesaver ever as the full-time working mom with kids. I was thinking it'd be fun to put together a little group of other moms with kids ages 5 and under. I'm going to be sharing workouts you can get done in 30 minutes, family-friendly meals, and you're going to have a whole community of support. Would that be something you want more info on? And I messaged that out to everybody because it was a cold invite in the sense that maybe they weren't engaging on my social media, but it was a warm invite because I actually knew them, and connecting something that I had to share that was very, very tailored to what their needs were. So kind of think through, if you're like, I don't know who to invite right now, think about how you can rephrase what you have to offer in a challenge group or your boot camp or whatever you call it to like that audience, like your niche and your market. So we have a couple minutes left. Are there questions in the chat that have not been answered yet? Or you guys can feel free to unmute and ask a question. And I know Melissa had to hop off, but there's a lot of those of us who can help. I haven't been looking through the chat here, so I'm not sure where we're at with stuff. Just scrolling through. Any questions, you guys?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so when you guys are bringing on new coaches, and I know that we just came out with Bod groups, are you guys encouraging all of them to open up their own Bod groups and like start all from there and helping them out with there, or are you having them come into your Bod group and kind of see how it goes down and then have them opening up their own?
I love team. So I always create space for my coaches to be with me as long as they want. And then when they find like their own niche, or if they have like Jen Wren is on this, she's a teacher. So she like created her own group that's just for teachers from her school, right? Because that totally makes sense. And they're more likely to get involved that way, right? But I always open up, I don't kick my coaches out. So if they want to be with me forever, they can always be with me.
I think that every coach does this a little bit different too. And in different parts of I've been a coach for 4 years, in different parts of my business, I've done it differently. Since January, like we had one huge challenge group in our team and delegated posting. And when Bod groups came out, I encouraged even my new coaches to at least set up a group so that they get the experience of this is how simple it is to set a group up. Even if they don't invite anyone to that group that they're setting up, and their first month they're co-coaching with me and they invite people to mine. I think there is value of especially that first 30 days of them focusing purely on their journey and just being excited about what they're doing and letting that excitement be magnetic through social media and putting all their energy into their journey, their transformation, and being excited about what they're doing rather than learning all the things, the technical things. I think that we all see new coaches get stuck in the learning and the training and all the different things they think that they have to know before they start. And I think that that's like the pit that a lot of new coaches fall into and overwhelm, and then they don't take any action, and then they quit because they don't ever do anything. Like they don't ever grow in their business. So I think you have to do what works for you and your people, and ask them, are you more of an, I'm a very independent person. So as soon as I signed up, my coach didn't really tell me you need to start your own group. I saw she did it, so I did my own. And that's just who my personality is. If I had to depend on someone else, I wouldn't grow as quickly. Mm-hmm. But other people get super overwhelmed by that. So again, I think talk to your coach, encourage them to like dip their toe into starting a group just to get the feel of it, and then, you know, see what they'll thrive more with.
I love that. I do think everybody is different. There's no right or wrong way, for sure.
I've been telling my newest coaches, and this is like within the last week because of bod groups, but I've been telling them they need to make sure they have, just so it shows, because it's so public now, it's very different than it used to be. And then what I've been telling my new girls is, hey, even if it's only your mom and your best friend in there, you can talk about, it's your intimate and exclusive account. You don't have to view it as this group. It can be like your little tracker group community that you pour in, and then I still add them to mine. Carly had a question. She said, did you guys do small groups when you first started, or one big group? And then as you got more people and followers, do small groups?
Carly, can you explain? Do you mean challenge?
Yes. Yeah, like challenge groups, because right now I don't have a bunch of followers and a bunch of people in my coaching. And so I was just doing a big group, and it's hard for me to get a bunch of small challenge groups.
Yeah, I would say same. It's whatever makes you happy, Carly. Like, do what's life-giving, you know, to you. So like what Abby said, even if it's just 2 people, if you want to go with your upline or their upline and be in big groups, you can kind of learn and, you know, depend on them and all their advice, like whatever brings you joy, whatever makes it easier for you to have success. Like, don't let the challenge group rob you of all your time for you to go out and invite and recruit. That's the other thing we can fall into something that's like administrative, you know what I mean? Like trying to create something beautiful and big and all this stuff, and then we aren't inviting new people, and then we're not growing. So I would just say whatever's easiest and most life-giving to you right now, it's probably what you should do.
Guys, when I first started, I would do my challenge group the second Monday of every month, because that's what my coach did. And then if no one joined, and I've never missed Success Club either, but if nobody joined, nobody knew that but me. So I would just be like a week later, I'm so excited, I get to reopen my boot camp. Like that was like fill, and 300 people fill it up. Like, just fake it till you make it. And that always helps. Allison asked, way to help new coaches understand the importance of Success Club without overwhelming them. It's a good question.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? Is it in the chat? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, best way to help new coaches understand the importance of Success Club without overwhelming them. What do you think is
yeah, I think that always keep it focused on people, right? And not try to be like people, not points, right? Like, so you have 30 days to help 3 people. So it's a lot of days in the month. So if we can just help 3 people in 30 days, and then go back to affirmations, like, it feels so good when I help 3 people a month, right? Like, to help them to focus on the feeling that they have, right? And then you also need to, and I need to do better at this, like help find out what motivates each coach, because it might be different, right? So one of them might be, for me, my whole goal was just to get my Shakeology paid for. So I would just want to know, okay, so if you sign up 2 people, you have your Shakeology, 2 challenge packs, you get your Shakeology paid for. And if you get 3, you get to have $50 in your pocket, right? And so kind of break it down for whatever it is, whatever the pain point is for your, or whatever their why is, or what, you know, whatever motivates them or whatever. And then just talk about it being a non-negotiable. Like, that's one of my prayers and my affirmations for my team. And some of them are, they make it a non-negotiable, but some of them aren't. And I can't make them, right? I can just keep showing up, providing tools, giving them encouragement, right? Breathe life into them. Like I say to them, like, I believe in you. Do you believe in you? Right? Because we can't make them do it. So, I mean, I try to reward them with just recognition, right? Every week on our team call, I do a lot of like shout outs. I love to shout them out. shout out in our team thread. When we're like pushing for a big goal, I've done like incentives and that kind of stuff. So that's always fun. Some people are motivated by gifts, right? That kind of thing. And then one other thing I wanted to mention while I'm talking is there's power in referrals. So almost always I've been trying to talk to, whenever somebody signs up, I'll say, hey, you know, do you have a friend or a family member who wants to join you? Because it's always more fun and people have more success, right? So always do that. And then the other thing is when somebody does refer someone to you, send them a gift. So like I just sent one this week, just like a packet of peppermint mocha Shakeology and an energized stick and a handwritten note, right? And that was like $1.40, right, to mail. And that will go a long way, right? And next time she has somebody who she wants to, she'll be like, oh, Amethyst liked that. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to send her somebody else. So Jen Wren's awesome at that. Every time she has a new client, she gives her a little package of like some of her little, you know, special little gifts, some of her special products. So be generous, right? That generosity goes a long way. And I send a handwritten note to every one of my new clients with like an energized stick. So again, I've had people come back to me and say, I'm only sticking with you because you've been so consistent with me, right? Like they might not even be getting the results they want, but the relationship is there. So I just want to encourage you in that part of it too.
I love that so much. I wanted to add in something that I learned from Emily Favre in her, like one of her trainings, because she went from, it was like diamond or 1-star to 15-star in a few months, something outrageously crazy. And what she tells all of her coaches when it comes to hitting Success Club is she just says, she states it as a fact. As coaches, we help at least 3 people a month. So email back to me who your 3 people are that you're going to get started with you. And then it puts the action on them to think of the 3 closest people to them. And you can give them examples. Like it literally could be your mom, your spouse, and your sister, or your 3 best friends, or whatever. But it's that simple. Who trusts you? Tell them what you're doing. Tell them to do this with you. Email me back who their names are, and then email me back once you reach out to them. And then it provides that accountability as their coach, and it makes it so simple. And then it's almost like after the fact, you can say, congratulations, you just hit Success Club. This is what it is, you know? And I think that like keeping it super simple is really, really beneficial. But Amethyst, I love all the stuff that you shared too. Super, super powerful.
Thank you. And with the list thing, and I like the other advice about like, make a list of, some people say 150, but I say like 15. Just write down 15 people's names who could benefit from getting healthier, right? And it's not like we're selling makeup or Tupperware, which I'll go to a party and I'll buy the stuff, right? But we're sharing something that is actually their doctor is going to tell them to do it, right? Or we can help them do it before they get to the doctor, right? So write down 15 people who could benefit from this. And then that way that just gets their mind jogged, like, oh, this isn't so scary, right? Because that would be, if all 15 said yes, that would be 5 months in Success Club, right? And this probably isn't going to happen that way. But help them to see this is so beneficial and not scary. It really is just such a huge mindset thing too.
I know something that helped me with Success Club, Amethyst, to echo that it's about people, it's not about points. And I heard on one of the national wake-up calls, one of the coaches said, there are 3 new people that need help with their health this month. And you can count on that every month, you know, whether it's adding exercise, a healthy smoothie, or a nutrition program, or all of the above. And that has really been a game changer for me. Like, I believe there are 3 new people that need some kind of support or assistance with their health. So that's been super helpful for me.
Awesome, Jen.
So much gold on here. Guys, is there any last questions before we close this off that you guys are dying to know about Success Club or anything else? Next week, we are going to talk about inviting to the business. So that's definitely one you're going to want to be on, because we're going to talk about coaching specifically. So this focus, your guys' focus this week, I'd really encourage you, do not make it an option to hit Success Club on the 30th or 31st. Like, I always have it, and I don't always make it happen. I'll be honest, I'm sitting at 0 right now. I sent out like 50 invites last night. But I always try to lock in Success Club by the 2nd week of the month as a non-negotiable, just because it takes that stress away and it helps you honestly level up business. If you tell yourself you have 30 days to help 3 people, you're going to take 30 days to do that long. So I'd encourage you to raise your own bars You guys can do hard things. People need what we have to offer. And this month is an insane deal. So I'm telling that more to myself than anyone else. To do it. But any last things? I know Amethyst, thank you. Melissa had to pop off, but you shared such gold with us. So thank you for that today.
You're welcome. I would just say, kind of tagging what you said, Abby, is do create a deadline for yourself. Please don't wait till the 30th. I have coaches who've done that, and it's so stressful for them, and then they'll end up doing great the next month, right? Because they've created that momentum. But really try, even if you've never done it, try to say SC5 by the 5th and SC10 by the 10th. Just mentally to get your, again, and then connect it with the feeling. I love how it feels when I'm SC5 on the 5th, right? I love how it feels when I'm SC10 on the 10th. And add that to your affirmations, you guys. If you, again, get Miracle Morning and start moving with those affirmations, and you will start seeing things move in the right direction. But thanks for having me. You guys are awesome. This is so fun.
We will see you all next week. We'll share this recording with you guys, and thank you for being on. So go rock your Wednesdays, and we will talk soon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.